Hello everyone, welcome back to In2sports. I'm your host Evan, and today I have two very interesting NFL strong opinions. And I want to start with an article CBS Sports put out ranking their top 10 quarterbacks for next year. One of the quarterbacks that was not listed on the top 10 was Aaron Rodgers. Are we watching the same sport? Hey CBS writer, is your TV broken? Aaron Rodgers has maybe the quickest release ever, up there with Dan Marino. Maybe the strongest arm in the league right now. He's very mobile, he can extend plays, buy time in the pocket, and he's a pinpoint passer and makes a lot of big time throws down the field. And I hear this, but his QBR is going down. Ryan Fitzpatrick was 9th in QBR last year, ahead of Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz, Tom Brady. Does anybody think Ryan Fitzpatrick's better than Wentz, Ryan, Murray, Brady? No. Are we really going to put that much stock in QBR? I'm not. I also hear this, but his touchdowns are going down. Well, they're running the ball more with Aaron Jones in the red zone. And Jameis Winston last year had the second most touchdowns, and he's now a backup. Oh yeah, also, Aaron Rodgers had the same amount of touchdowns, 26, as Deshaun Watson last year. I don't see anybody leaving Deshaun Watson off their top 10 quarterbacks list. Rodgers last year, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a 6.5 to 1 touchdown interception ratio. That was better than everyone's number one quarterback in CBS Sports, number one quarterback on that article, Pat Mahomes. And Mahomes is playing with better weapons, better head coach, and he had a worse touchdown interception ratio. We're going to put him at 1, but we're going to leave Aaron Rodgers off the top 10 list. Doesn't make any sense to me. I also hear this, but he's not good in the playoffs. Well, last decade, on Pro Football Focus, he has the highest passing grade of any quarterback in the playoffs, in the postseason. Last decade. That's a big sample size. But the 49ers destroyed him in the NFC Championship game. Well, he was the only reason they got to the NFC Championship game in the first place. And also in that game, 97 passer rating, 80% completion, 325 yards. But they couldn't stop the run. And Raheem Mostert may as well still be running because Green Bay couldn't do anything to that run game. 97 passer rating, 80% completion, 325 yards from Rodgers. That doesn't sound too bad for me. But the team gives up 37 points, so we're just going to blame the quarterback. The Aaron Rodgers disrespect has gone way too far. He's the second best quarterback in football behind Russell Wilson for my money. Aaron Rodgers, so much slander. The analytics people don't like him. CBS writers don't like him. I don't get it at all whatsoever. All right, I'm gonna shift gears because Bleacher Report put out a list ranking 1 to 32 every quarterback's supporting cast. So what that is their tight ends, their wide receivers, their running backs, their offensive line, maybe a coach. So at the top of the list, we had Chiefs, Pat Mahomes. Makes sense. Because he has Tyreek Hill, he has Travis Kelce, he has Mecole Hardman, he has Sammy Watkins, he has great protection, he has Andy Reid. I could go on and on with the weapons. Number 3 on the list, Saints, Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook. Good offensive line, Sean Payton. Makes sense, great supporting cast. Number 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady. They have the best receiver duo in the league and the best tight end core in the league, I believe, with Gronk, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. Also a great offensive coach in Bruce Arians. Number 5 on the list, Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Great O-line, great run game, Zeke Elliott. 3 really good receivers. So in this top supporting cast, we had Mahomes, Brees, Brady, and Dak, all in the top 5 of the supporting cast. So those are kind of the top tier, top 10 area quarterbacks. And they also have the best supporting casts. But then I scroll down and I see 32, Washington, Dwayne Haskins. Not surrounded very well, didn't have a great year 1, but I still like Haskins. Although a little bit of a tough year, not great surroundings. And then I see Minshew at 31, Jaguars. Not great surroundings. I think he's a high-end backup, low-end starter. I think he's decent, he can play. Number 28, Jets, Sam Darnold. Wow. Wait, this guy's a bad supporting cast, and he's a bona fide franchise quarterback. I think he's a top 15 or 16 QB in the league, and he's easily a top 20 quarterback in this league. So what makes his supporting cast so bad? Well, at coach, Adam Gase. Don't like him at all. Last year was his first year with the Jets. He spent 3 years in Miami before that. In 2018, Devontae Parker, with Gase at head coach, had 300 yards and 1 touchdown. Not a very productive season. But then the year that Adam Gase leaves and Devontae Parker has Brian Flores as head coach, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, immediately flourishes into one of the best receivers in the league. And Adam Gase was giving Devontae Parker DNPs. He was sitting him because he didn't think he was good in Miami 2018. Another guy in the Adam Gase doghouse was Kenyon Drake, the running back. Adam Gase was giving Frank Gore carries over Kenyon Drake. But then Kenyon Drake leaves, goes to a decent offensive head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, and immediately with Arizona, he had a 4-touchdown game against Cleveland, and he averaged over 5 yards per carry. How about the quarterback? 2018 with Adam Gase, Ryan Tannehill, 33 QBR. Not very good. But then, when Tannehill escapes Adam Gase, 62 QBR and number 1 in Pro Football Focus quarterback rating, or quarterback grade. Okay, so what else is bad about Sam Darnold's supporting cast? Well, first of all, he's never had a number 1 receiver. Last year he had Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder, and Robbie Anderson's not a number 1 receiver because now he's the 3rd receiver on a team that's probably going to go 6-10 next year, the Carolina Panthers. He had the 28th ranked offensive line, Pro Football Focus, last year, and their run game in terms of rush yards ranked 26 2 years ago. And with Lev Bell, well, it better be better, right? No, it was actually second last, 31st in yards per game on the ground last year. So Sam Darnold has never had a top 25 receiver, never had a top 25 run game, never had a top 25 offensive line, and never had a top 25 head coach. The Jets are ruining Sam Darnold. They haven't been able to surround him with any type of good talent. Well, okay, but the best quarterbacks overcome their surroundings, and they don't need good offensive lines, good running backs. Well, CBS Sports, let's go back to that article. Their top 5 quarterbacks: Dak Prescott, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes. Dak, phenomenal surroundings. Brees, phenomenal surroundings. Wilson might be the exception to this list, but he still has Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, 2 good receivers, a Super Bowl winning head coach Pete Carroll, and a good run game with Chris Carson. Lamar Jackson, Super Bowl head coach, good run game, Mark Ingram, Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, 2 really good young playmakers. And Pat Mahomes, we know the surroundings are phenomenal. 3 really good receivers, 1 star tight end, a good O-line, and a great head coach, Andy Reid. So all the top quarterbacks also happen to have top supporting casts. Maybe Wilson's the only exception. So I think if Mahomes and Darnold switched teams, I think many people would think Darnold was actually the better quarterback. I think Mahomes is better. But if they switched teams, Darnold would have much better weapons, so he'd probably have better stats. And he'd have less mistakes. He'd have a better coach, so he'd have more wins. And again, Mahomes is better. But in an age where quarterbacks are judged based off wins and stats, as we like to do, that's what the public, that's what the media likes to do, wins and stats, that's how you grade your quarterback. Darnold would have more wins and more stats. He'd be on TV more. You know, Darnold's not on TV. Most people don't get to see him that often. But if he's making runs into the playoffs, divisional round, he'd be on TV more. And a lot of people would actually think Darnold would be better because Mahomes would be surrounded by a dysfunctional Jets organization. And he'd still be a good quarterback, but there'd be more mistakes because coming out of college, Mahomes was a playmaker with a lot of mistakes. And if he's throwing the ball to Jamison Crowder, he wouldn't have that margin for error like he does when he throws to Tyreek Hill. So Darnold, let's talk about Darnold for a second. Quick release, good arm. He can throw moving to the left, moving right, and he can throw off his back foot when there's pressure in his face. He makes a lot of big-time throws down the field. But Darnold's stats aren't good. Well, in life and sports, talent plus surroundings equals success. He has the talent, he doesn't have the surroundings, so the success is marginal. But if you really want to use stats, I got one for you. He was 7-6 last year with a bad supporting cast, dysfunction all around him, 7-6 with the Jets. But my knock on Darnold, we talked about the good, here's the bad. Too many ill-advised turnover-worthy plays, throwing into double and triple teams down the field. Well, he has to force the issue because he constantly has to save his supporting cast, make desperate plays to try to bring them back into the game. Oh yeah, also, for the Jets, their star safety Jamal Adams just requested a trade away from New York, probably trying to go to Dallas or a contender. So the one time the Jets actually do collect good talent, they lose that good talent in 3 years. Jets are ruining Sam Darnold, but he's still a stud. Thank you for listening to the In2sports podcast. Click here to subscribe, and here for a video I know you'll like.